Well, hello and welcome along to episode 15 of the All Things Leeds podcast with myself, Ed McIntyre, and joining me in the studio, as he always does, it's Leeds United fan Charles Foster. How are you, Charles?
I'm fine, mate. Had a nice lie-in this morning.
Yep. We're recording this a lot later than what we usually do. Yeah. Not telling me. Not telling me that you
Yeah. Ignore the social media channels. That is a wind-up.
What a week it's been to be a Leeds United fan, though. Anyway, looking at the positives, we'll of course look back on Leeds' awesome 3-2 win over Millwall at Ellen Road last Saturday. That and the other results saw Leeds go back into second in the table and 2 points clear. We'll go over all that. Did you have a good week after that result?
Yeah, I was delighted. I mean, it's always nice to do one over on Millwall because it's Millwall, but
yeah.
Other than that, it was just a good week in general.
We'll also go over the U23s as they beat Burnley 3-1 away last Friday to progress to the semi-final of the Premier League Cup. We'll also look at some other bits of news coming out of Ellen Road this week, and we'll have a listen to a chat that I had with BBC Radio Leeds' Adam Pope before looking ahead to 2 away games coming up for Leeds next week. The first being against Birmingham on Saturday and then against Preston on Tuesday. Plenty of stuff coming up here on episode 15 of the All Things Leeds podcast. Well, we need to start then, don't we, really, recapping what has been a brilliant weekend. If you're a Leeds United fan, Leeds, of course, beating Millwall 3-2 to jump up to second in the Championship table after results elsewhere. I mean, it was just incredible, wasn't it, on Saturday? It was an incredible afternoon. It
was certainly an interesting one. I sort of experienced kind of all the highs and lows of being a Leeds fan in 190 minutes. I mean, because we were following the Sheffield United and Bristol City result at the same time, and that was obviously that was going badly, and then it was going all right, and then it was going badly, and then it was going well, and then it went brilliant, and then 60 seconds after Weimann did us a massive favour, Pablo Hernandez comes up clutch, and we go 3-2 up, and the place goes mental, and people are setting flares off and all sorts. It's amazing. It was incredible.
The feeling was great. It almost felt like the final day of the season. You know, when you're getting scores coming through, you know, the team who you need to lose, you know, is winning and we're losing, but then all of a sudden it changes, and it just flips on its head. The feeling on Saturday inside the ground was just immense.
Yeah, it was somewhat special because people were like. People were a little bit annoyed at 1-0, but they thought the general consensus of the stadium was it's only like 10 minutes in, we'll be all right. People were a lot more annoyed at 2-1 because that was in the second half.
But there was still, about 35-40 minutes left.
Yeah, there was enough time, but with Leeds, we squandered quite a few chances. It did have a little bit of a Sheffield United feel to it, where we wasted a few chances in the first half, and the penalties are a glaring one. And then Jack Harrison had that one-on-one which he should have scored.
Yeah, we'll of course go over the bigger points, talking points that happened there throughout the game. I mean, but first of all, I mean, how often do we need to put ourselves through this being a Leeds fan, especially this season? How many 3-2s
it's happened a few times.
Do we have to live through?
I mean, the Villa one, the Blackburn one, and this one, and we've had a few later ones as well. The Middlesbrough away when there was 100th minute goal, and we've had a few. A few late kind of like jumps in mood.
Yeah,
you sat there at 1-0 thinking, sod this. We've done it again. We've screwed it up, and then we pull it back, and you think, no, this might be the greatest weekend of all time. Yeah. You experience like a lot of highs and lows, and the more sensible Leeds fans when we went behind in the game were saying, there's still an opportunity here. There's still enough time. Even when we scored at 2-2, you were saying, we've got a lot of time here to score the winner because we scored the 2-2 on about in the 72nd minute or something like that. Mm-hmm. There was a long time left. It was about over 20 minutes when you were factoring added time. So there was a long time, but we scored it like 8 minutes later anyway. So it was point. It didn't have to wait that long. But yeah, the more sensible Leeds fans knew that there was still a chance, and there's always going to be a chance.
I mean, it's just what Leeds fans feel, really. Past few seasons we've been, we have had teams who go to maybe, you know, there's 10, 15 minutes left, they're losing by a goal and they just give up, really. But this side just, you know, showing the grit and determination that they have done all season, from going down behind twice and missing a penalty, not burying a penalty. You know, it just shows, you know, again, the character of the players, and, you know, this team is going to battle right till the last minute to get the result that they want. Yeah,
the turning point in the game was the Janssen for Clark substitution, not because of what either player was doing. I mean, apart from Janssen almost getting sent off, but trying to talk himself into a second yellow for some reason. And because Clark didn't do a massive deal when he came on either. But it was the fact that Hernandez went to the middle of the pitch and then could maestro a bit more on the middle.
He saw the entire game in front of him, knew what to do, and it gave him that freedom, really, running about in the middle.
Because up until that point, they were managing us quite well. I say managing us, they will never do that, but they were keeping us out from making a lot of clear chances. And then once we went a little bit more attacking, we got them on the back foot a bit more, and we created quite a few more clear-cut opportunities. And because Janssen went off at 2-1 down, and then we scored like literally a couple of minutes later.
Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of people, especially around us, they were quite surprised seeing Pontus Janssen go off for Jack Clark. But that substitution, as you said, you know, was kind of a turning point in the game. It changed the game, and inevitably we went on to win 3-2. But let's digest the game properly, shall we? Go over the key talking points. So, I mean, we were poor the first 20 minutes. We were really, really poor. Millwall, they were definitely on top. They pressed high, started quicker, and they kind of surprised us a bit, really. I was quite impressed with them in the first 20 minutes.
Their goals, the manner of their goals didn't surprise me. The kind of, you know, flinging balls into the box, winning headers, and obviously we're getting the penalty. But I think they would have scored that if they hadn't got the penalty anyway, because it was like, I think it was 3-on-2 and inside our box. They'd have scored that anyway.
Yeah.
At least with the penalty, Peacock Fowler's got a chance of keeping it out. But yeah, they were better on the ball than I was expecting them to be. I mean, their passing was poor.
Yeah.
But they were winning a lot of second balls. Whenever a ball dropped in midfield, about 80% of the time they won the ball, the dead ball. But yeah, they were slightly better than I thought they were going to be. But then they always up the game for Leeds, don't they?
Yeah, that's true.
That's a fact every season.
But we really, really poor though. Millwall thoroughly deserved their lead on 10 minutes. Malon Romeo getting to a ball. It looked like it was going out of play. He got there just in time, crossed it in, found Ben Thompson free in the box, not too far out, and he headed it into the back of the net. Poor defending from Leeds, but Millwall, you know, they fully deserved the lead. And as I say, you know, probably a better team for the first 20 minutes. But we then, you know, grew into the game, and I'd say we became a better team.
Yeah, from about 22 minutes onwards in the first half, we were the better team. We pushed about 10 yards further up. They stopped pressing as much when they won up. It's like time wasting on 15 minutes, which is just Millwall all over.
Yeah,
and refusing to give the ball back out of the dugout. And then one of their players took about 30 seconds to take a throw in. Their goalkeeper did it so often he actually got booked by a referee, and you know for an opposition keeper to get booked at Ellen Road, you've got to be bad, because referees normally let people get away with murder at Ellen Road. But yeah, they just did all they could to kind of ruin the first half, end it quickly.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, I'd say we grew into the game, eventually became the better side, I felt. We awarded a penalty, Alioski getting brought down. Stonewall penalty, this one. The referee making a good call. The referee, I felt, did have a decent game, to be fair.
He gave a few iffy free kicks for both teams, some a little bit soft, but other than both penalties were penalties. He gave out cards to the keeper got a card, and then one of their attacking players got a card because he basically two-footed Phillips from behind as Phillips was running away from our box, running upfield. He just went through him, just to stop him breaking.
Yeah,
and that was a clear yellow at least.
Yeah,
and he gave a few other yellows out, and Janssen got a yellow for a bit pretty pointless. Obviously, I'm skipping way ahead here.
It was a poor challenge, and he almost
it wasn't just a poor challenge. It was a needless challenge because Liam Cooper was going to get to the ball. He didn't need to trip him up really, but yeah, and then it.
Yeah, but the referee, he had a good game. I don't agree with Neil Harris saying afterwards, you know, it was more on Leeds' side. I definitely don't agree with that. I thought it was, you know, pretty fair. I mean, he awarded both teams a penalty.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, he was one of the better referees I've seen at Ellen Road this season. I mean, it's not a massively high bar, but because I mean, amazingly, Mike Dean's probably been the best referee we've had at Ellen Road this season so far up until this point.
Yeah, Mike Dean, he's in charge for the Birmingham game on Saturday.
I know.
As well.
He gave out his 100th red card to Ashley Young, which is nice because it cost Manchester United the game.
Yeah, honourable mention to Wolves and San Martino for
cheers, lads.
for beating them 2-1 on Tuesday.
Gave me a good laugh yesterday.
Well, we kept on. First of all, penalty. Bamford stepped up. He had scored his only penalty for Leeds just before, a few weeks ago against Bolton, but stepped up for this one. A poor penalty, saved by the keeper's legs, and poor penalty. The word poor kind of sums up his afternoon, really. He wasn't good at all, really.
I mean, he admitted it after the game, actually this morning, that he said, not this morning.
Wednesday morning.
Was it Sunday morning when he tweeted it? When he was like, he said waking up to 3 points kind of helps the fact that he didn't have a good game. So he admitted he didn't have a good game.
Yeah.
I mean, the penalty, if he'd have leathered it, were exactly the same spot. If he'd have leathered it, he'd have scored it. It was the fact that it had no pace. It was a good savable height. All the keeper had to do was flick his legs up and he'd save it. He looked. I mean, first of all, I'd like to say the Millwall players tried to kick the spot up. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I did.
They tried to ruin the penalty spot.
Yeah, but it should make a difference. I mean, Bamford, it's a poor penalty.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong.
No excuses. He should have scored it.
Probably gets in his head, but I mean, he didn't have a good game, did he? He was barely in it, barely got stuck in, and yeah, he just didn't have a great game. Really, kind of a passenger, really, chasing shadows all game, and I mean, Saturday's game against Birmingham away, if Kemar Roof is back fit, which apparently he should be. Could you see Kemar Roof going in for Bamford?
No, that's a bit too knee-jerk for Bielsa.
Do you not think?
Roof will make the bench, and he might come on in about the 70th minute if Bamford's not having a great game. But I can see Bamford. It was a poor performance, but it's not exactly like his millionth poor performance in a row, is it?
Yeah.
He had a one-off game. He had a one-off game at Reading. He had a one-off game here.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to him as well, when he had a poor game against QPR, came back and scored a brace against West Brom.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's
on his day. Yeah,
he's a good player at this level, and he can do it.
Yeah.
If we give him a bit of confidence and just start him again next game and just go, come on, you were poor against, you were poor against Millwall. This is your chance to redeem yourself. We're off down to St Andrews. We need 3 points. If we win a penalty, you got to do better. And if you get a chance, we need you to score it.
Yeah.
And if we score first, because I can't remember, when was the last time we scored first?
I mean, we scored first against Reading. Scored first against West Brom.
True, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
last couple of games we don't score first, have we? And whenever we don't score
against
first,
Millwall and Sheffield United.
When we don't score first, you always think, oh.
Yeah, but I mean, as we mentioned, credit to the players. We did equalise though in 34 minutes. Pablo Hernandez finishing off this move. This was a few minutes after Jack Harrison. He missed a great opportunity. Good pass to play, linking up well with Hernandez. Jack Harrison 1-on-1 with the keeper. Like I say, good opportunity missed, but Hernandez did eventually put us ahead on 34 minutes. Really nice play, this from Leeds United. All starting really with Liam Cooper at the back.
Yeah, Millwall had like a 3-on-2 chance, and they overhit a pass to their winger, and Cooper collected it and sent it back upfield. It got worked down to Tyler Roberts, who spread it out to Click in the middle. He followed it up, laid it off to Luke Ayling, who had the presence of mind, because he did it a couple of times at Reading. He did that when he runs forward and cuts it back to the edge of the box. And it's worked a few times, and it left Pablo with. I mean, he had to hit it first time, otherwise the defenders would have had that.
Yeah, definitely.
But
pulled it into a bottom left corner.
Great ball in, and he hits it, and keeper's not having that.
Yeah, really nice goal. And as you mentioned, Liam Cooper, he had a few options at the back. He could have sent it off into Rosette, but instead he takes it round the attacker, plays it to Alioski, and then eventually goes down to Erling. And I don't know if you saw the clip of the goal that Chile scored while under Bielsa. There's a clip on social media. Definitely look at it if you haven't seen it already. But it's basically a goal that Chile scored while Bielsa managed them, and the goal that we scored, Hernandez's first goal against Millwall. Pretty much both identical, and it just shows Bielsa's philosophy, really. Yeah,
it's part of his kind of movement memories strategy, isn't it? We're getting people to practice a goal enough that when they're in the middle of a game and they're not really thinking, they will do that and score that goal or score one type of goal that they've trained on, because they train specific attacking movements enough that you'll just do it naturally and you won't think about it. Because thinking about it costs seconds, and seconds cost opportunities in football.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time you don't have seconds to think about what you want to do. In fact, more often than not, you've got less than a second to make your mind up to do something or not do something.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, really nice move, really nice goal. That made it 1-1. 1-1 at half-time. Definitely the better team going into half-time, really. As I say, apart from the first 20 minutes we were poor, but apart from that we were the better side, I felt. And I was confident going into the second half. I was. But 10 minutes into the second half, though, half-time substitute Barry Douglas. He gave the ball away on the left-hand side, Millwall break, and then eventually Liam Cooper goes in, takes down Ben Marshall in the box, and he steps up and scored, made it 2-1. Cooper, first of all, was it a challenge that he had to make?
It's not the challenge I would have made. I mean, obviously he's a professional footballer, so I defer to his experience. He should have stood him up. He should have jockeyed him and forced him to pass it or have an immediate shot. Or if he tried to run past him, try and force him as close to the byline as possible to give Peacock Fowler as much of a chance. But I have a feeling that would have been a goal either way, because it was pretty much 3-on-2.
Yeah.
Luke Ayling was caught up field because we were attacking at that point when Douglas lost the ball. So Ayling was 30 yards further forward, so we had no chance of getting back in time. Cooper had to make a challenge, and he chose. And it was good. It was a good fair play to, I don't know whoever won the penalty, but Ben Marshall won it as well. I know he scored it. He dragged the ball away and got tucked down, and it's a penalty, and it's unfortunate because we were playing quite well.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, we were the better side, but just a lapse of concentration. Barry Douglas giving the ball away, Cooper putting in a reckless challenge. They get a penalty, they score. It was kind of a disappointing feeling, really. As you said, and the mood amongst the fans kind of dropped a bit, really, when that penalty was awarded. It's
a bit of a more sombre at that point. Barry Douglas did, however, redeem himself a few minutes later.
Yeah, we kept on pushing on through. We eventually equalised. Jack Harrison doing really well, first of all, on the left-hand side, keeping the ball in.
Yeah.
The ball looked like he were going out of play. Harrison just lost it. There was a grunt from the fans, but then Harrison just turns into Usain Bolt, runs down to the bar line, keeps it in play, pulls it back to Barry Douglas, and Barry Douglas whips in a nice cross to Ayling, and Ayling,
absolute peach of a cross,
an absolute bullet header from Ayling.
Great finish. Not only what you'd expect from Luke Ayling, really.
I mean, it's not normally what you'd expect from fullbacks as well. Fullbacks linking up to score. Left back Barry Douglas giving it to right back Luke Ayling to score.
In the 6-yard box.
Yeah.
Just Bielsa, isn't it?
But Barry Douglas, he was injured at this point as well. Fair play to him. He injured himself during the second half after he came on at half time.
It was his left leg that he'd done as well.
Yeah.
So the foot he sent the ball in with was his knackered leg.
Yeah, he's a fair play to him for carrying on and getting that assist. Obviously, not good news about him though. Rupturing ligaments.
Medial ligament, isn't it?
Yeah, out for 2 to 3 months. Put him out for the rest of the season.
It was due to a challenge with Jed Wallace when he did it. When Millwall were trying to force their way down his side, he went in on Jed Wallace and just smashed his knee. I mean, it's happened so many times this season. See, people are saying, this is all down to Bielsa, but it's all of them. 90% of these injuries have been freak kind of impact injuries. You get.
Yeah, it's just been unfortunate.
You normally get when you're doing like Formula 1 or racehorsing or some sort of proper contact sport like rugby or something like that.
Yeah.
Not normally what you get when you're playing football.
Yeah.
But he's really unlucky because he was just. I reckon in his mind he was thinking there. Right, all right. I gave the ball away for their second goal.
But I've got 30 minutes now.
But I got an assist. I finished the game off. I didn't look too defensively suspect for the rest of the game. If I keep playing like this, and Alioski keeps playing like he did in the first half, because Alioski was defensively poor in the first half.
Yeah, defensively. Yeah. I mean, for me, Alioski, he's a good left back, but he's a good left wing back. For me, he can't play a left back in a back four. For me, you have to play him as a wing back, and you play. Back three, Bavardi, Janssen, Cooper, then you've got Ayling and Alioski for wing-backs, although you say Ayling probably doesn't have enough pace to be a wing-back, which is unfortunate because I feel as though Alioski, as a wing-back by himself on that left-hand side, he would be great, but as in a back four, I just feel like Alioski probably, isn't that good. He does get caught out quite a lot. Yeah, Barry Douglas out for 2 to 3 months, put him out for the rest of the season. Really unfortunate. Hopefully he recovers well.
I feel sorry for the lad, to be honest.
Hopefully he recovers well and quickly. Will we see him play for Leeds again, do you think?
Yeah.
Even if we go up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be wholesale change when we go up.
No.
I think if we did do wholesale change, we'd be in danger of doing a Fulham, just spending 100 million quid on a team and picking up 4 wins all season because we've hired a bunch of mercenaries that don't care. I'd much rather us go up, sign like 5 players.
Yeah, we need to sign players, definitely.
Keep the base, have a crack at it, and I reckon we'll win more games than Fulham if we do that.
Yeah,
because we've got a better manager than Fulham.
Yeah, we definitely need to sign players anyway. But anyway, we're carrying on with the game. We're in search for a winner. Forshaw, he came close with a really nice shot from quite a long range.
I don't think it was ever good. It never looked like it was going to go in.
No, but trouble with goalkeeper won as a corner.
Yeah, and as soon as it left his foot, you knew it was going to force a save. But you never, because of the goalkeeper's position, you knew it was never going to go in.
Yeah.
But and then Phillips headed just over from the resulting corner over the the bar. But we looked like we were pushing for another goal, and then we won the ball back, and Hernandez sent it over to Harrison, who led it off to Tyler Roberts, and a bit of trickery down the wing. And Millwall fans were saying the ball went out of play because they're bitter.
Yeah.
But I can't say what I wanted to say then. But we and then he sent the ball in on his left foot, and amazing run off Pablo Hernandez. Nobody tracks Pablo Hernandez, arguably the most dangerous player on the pitch. Nobody tracks his run, and he runs into the 6-yard box.
Nice goal as well. He's sliding down,
slides it in
about 5 yards out, but buries it. And as we were saying, it was an extraordinary minute because news is trickling into the stands that Bristol City had just taken the lead against Sheffield United, gone 3-2 up with about 7 minutes to go in both games, and then 6 seconds later Hernandez scores the winner, makes it 3-2. Hernandez brace, proving why he should have been in that Championship Team of the Year. Very much.
What is it? 12 goals, 10 actually, is it 12 goals, 11 assists? He's got something stupid. He's been involved in 23 goals.
Yeah,
I don't know what the exact split is.
No, but he's been incredible, and he's been arguably the best player in the Championship this season.
Certainly the best player for Leeds.
Yeah, should have definitely been in that Championship Team of the Year without a doubt. And he's giving the twos up to the EFL, saying, I am this good. I'm going to score a brace. And
I think Pontiacanta put out a tweet something like that.
But Leeds United today go on to win 3-2. Honourable mentions to Lee Johnson, the Bristol City manager, and Andres Weimann for scoring all 3 goals.
Cheers, Weimann.
Yeah, I've always respected Bristol. Always respected.
I mean, they chuck us 6 points every season. Their manager's always funny to look at.
Yeah.
And they occasionally do over people who are rivaling us. So what's not to like?
Yeah. Always respected Bristol.
we have the best record against Bristol than any club in the Championship. I think we've won like 12 out of the last 14 meetings with Bristol and drawn one of them and lost one.
Well, we'll tell you who don't have a good record against Bristol. Sheffield United.
Done the double over them this season, haven't they?
Yep. So we beat Millwall 3-2. Bristol City beat Sheffield United 3-2, as we mentioned. And Leeds go back to second in the table and 2 points clear of third with 7 games to go. Unbelievable.
Oh, God.
It's back in our own hands.
Yeah,
it's all happy now.
Yeah, but if we screw up like they did, well, then we're straight back to square one, aren't we?
It can change like that. That's the thing. 2 points clear, but we lose and Sheffield United win one weekend, and it changes just like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, great stuff from Leeds United. All happy now. 7 games to go. We're second with 2 points clear. Do you believe it's going to happen?
We've got a 3-game week now, don't we? Because we've got Birmingham away, Preston away, and then Sheffield Wednesday at home.
People talk about these 2 next games away, which are tough, but then we've got a small matter of a game against Sheffield Wednesday.
I would love us dearly. But the thing is, they've got a decision to make. Why don't you just roll over, lads, so Sheffield United don't go up?
Yeah, so your rivals...
Let's be realistic. You hate them more than you hate us.
Hopefully.
I mean, I'm sure it's close, but you definitely hate them more.
Yeah. Just a quick word on the aftermath of the game then against Millwall. Leeds United are receiving a punishment from the FA. A fine for the Leeds United fans throwing things at Ben Marshall after he scored the penalty to put them 2-1 ahead as he celebrated right in front of the Leeds fans in the south stand. Now, I don't really know what a club's meant to do, really, to stop fans throwing stuff. It's a high, against a game against one of our rivals. There's high emotions in it, and the guy is literally on purpose. He scored the penalty, running over to the away fans, but then he steps back and just,
he incites the Leeds fans.
Yeah.
If you incite fans, you deserve everything you get.
Yeah.
I know people say, there's no excuse for throwing stuff at footballers. If you incite a crowd, you get what you deserve.
Yeah. And you should get punished for that as well.
Especially when he has the opportunity to run off to his own fans and celebrate in front of them. In front of the away, because the away fans are 20 yards away.
Yes.
He could run over. It's not like he scored at the Kop end and he had no choice but celebrate in front of the Leeds fans. He had perfect opportunity to celebrate in front of his own fans, and decided to act like he did.
Yeah, I mean, what is he expecting?
I mean, it's not. I will say it's not the only time in the game that people started pelting stuff at Millwall players, because Jed Wallace had as he was walking down the byline of the East Stand, had at least 3 things thrown at him, and they all landed behind him, but he noticed all of them.
Yeah.
And that was the family stand.
Yeah. But I mean, what are they expecting? I mean, they should be fined, first of all. Ben Marshall should be fined for enticing the Leeds fans.
I mean, Neil Harris should be fined for crimes against football for what we had to watch at Ellen Road. For the style of play he puts in, he makes everyone sit through in the Championship every season.
I mean, Millwall were really, really poor for me. They were good first 20 minutes, but then they were poor. We worked great, but we were just better than them, and we had to win. But, I mean, I don't know what the club was meant to do, though, to stop fans throwing stuff. You're going to put a steward next to every single fan.
From what I understand, the West Yorkshire Police are quite happy with Leeds at the moment, because there's not been that many arrests.
No.
There was no arrests at the game, and there was only 1 arrest in town at the time the game was going on. And so if they don't have to do that much and they don't have to do much policing, they don't have to spend as much money, they're happy with the club. And the EFL and the FA won't punish Leeds that much if Leeds demonstrate that they are doing what they can to stop it. And I think Rajazani has kind of told everyone to stop pelting stuff on the pitch, but realistically, if you're trying and wind up the noisiest and rowdiest section of the fans in Ellen Road, you're gonna get what you deserve. Yeah,
exactly. But anyway, moving on. We've got a couple of tough away games, like we mentioned, and we will look into those towards the end of this episode. But let's first look at the Leeds United U23s, as we always do in every podcast. Last Friday, they beat Burnley 3-1 away to progress to the semi-final of the Premier League Cup. They'll be drawn at home to Newcastle in the semi-final. That should be a good game to go to. I'm sure that there's going to be a big crowd there, as there always is for U23s this season.
I've heard it might be at Ellen Road. It might be.
If it's at Ellen Road, then hopefully we could maybe open up 2 stands if enough fans want to go.
Yeah, they'll probably open the family stand and maybe the Kop.
Yeah. Get some fans on TV.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there'll be a few thousand turn up. It's a semi-final of a cup competition. Why would you not want to turn up?
Yeah, I mean, they've been turning up for all these other games. This semi-final against Newcastle United as well. So, I'm sure it's going to be a good game to go to. They
beat us in the qualifying for the cup, though, so they're not a pushover. They're a good team.
Yeah, but the U23s, they just keep on doing it, don't they? We've got a group of winners coming through.
Yeah, excellent group of players. It'd be interesting to see if we can go all the way and win the double. I mean, even if they don't, they've had a superb season, and they've got a chance to go up into the Premier League. Yeah. Under 23s setup. I mean, they've got to go through the playoffs because for some reason they only promote 1 team every year.
Yeah, but it's exciting though, and we got a lot of players coming through who maybe could get a chance in the first team, and you could be superstars really. But also if they're good and they come in, we could sell them for 5-10 million. What's the going rate nowadays for good youngsters?
I don't want to be a selling club. We've been a selling club for years.
But
I've always hated that about us.
Yeah, but if we're in the Premier League, you're going to get less youngsters.
It's one of the reasons I hate Norwich. They didn't really buy much of our youth talent, but Spurs did that mostly. But for stealing our players when we were on our knees, the likes of bloody Johnny Howson and Robert Snodgrass and Luciano Becchio.
Blame Ken Bates for that.
Yeah, I hate Bates.
Yeah, who doesn't? Ryan Edmondson's coming again against Burnley. He looks like a good player. Just a quick word on Izzy Brown, though. We played for the U23s on Friday. He was not involved for the game against Millwall last Saturday. It looks like he probably doesn't have a future at all at Leeds United, doesn't it?
It looks a bit unfortunate. Yeah. Phil, if on the Inside On Road thing this morning, sorry to plug another podcast, but I'm going to have to because otherwise I'll get done.
It's a great podcast. Phil Hay, Joe Urquhart, go check them out.
Yeah, done for plagiarism. I don't want to say something that they've said and then someone call me out on it, but Phil was saying this morning it would be prime Leeds if Izzy Brown's first and only contribution was to score the winning goal which sent Leeds up to the Premier League.
I mean, we mentioned that a few weeks ago.
And then his loan ended.
Yeah, we mentioned that a few weeks ago, didn't we? If he comes on, the game against Aston Villa at home and he scores the goal to make us go 5 points clear in second with 1 game left to go. That'll be all the hard work will be worth it. But yeah, I mean, Izzy Brown, he's fully fit and they're choosing to play him in 23s instead of getting him on the bench against Millwall. It just shows you where he's at, really. And yeah, when his loan's up, he's probably going to go back.
Yeah, I don't think Bielsa sees enough in him.
Yeah. And we probably won't sign him at the end of the season, which is unfortunate. I mean, if we had seen Izzy Brown, who played for Huddersfield a few years ago, it would have been exciting, but just doesn't seem to be. It's
not been the same since injury, has it?
Just doesn't seem to be working out for Izzy Brown this season. But that's the U23s. Hopefully they keep on doing what they're doing, and hopefully they go on and reach the final of the Premier League Cup and maybe even win it.
Hopefully so.
Yeah. Well, let's move back up to the first team then. Before we discuss the 2 away games coming up against Birmingham and Preston, let's listen to a chat I had with BBC Radio Leeds' Adam Pope, who told me whether he saw Leeds being in this position at this point in the season.
I certainly didn't think that it would go this well, to be quite honest. I think when it was in pre-season and we heard about the Bielsa or the move for Bielsa, I genuinely thought, gosh, this could be spectacularly brilliant or spectacularly bad. And I'd say that because I think it's really difficult for a foreign coach to come and who's had no experience of English football, either playing or managing here, and particularly in the Championship, to do really well very quickly. And he's obviously proved that he can. And there's been very few examples recently. Obviously at Wolves it's happened. NkGhTg has shown success having done it, although he had played at Chelsea many years before. But he did really well with Watford and with Fulham. And he would have been my choice, to be quite honest, if Leeds could have got him. The last couple of years, whenever they've looked at a new manager, I thought NkGhTg, because he can do it. But Bielsa has been phenomenal. So really has surprised me that it's gone this well.
Yeah, has it been the best season you've covered Leeds United?
Yeah, undoubtedly, regardless of the outcome, because A, the football has been sensational to watch, and B, I like the standards that he's set and the culture that he's put around the place. And for the first time and you think about it, I've been covering Leeds commentating on since 2005-06. You generally feel that the club is aligned in the right way, on the field and off the field. They've still got things to do and still things to get right, but it's points in the right direction. And for that alone, it's been more simpler to cover because you can concentrate on the thing that you should concentrate on as a commentator and a reporter, is the football.
What's it like actually, working with the club, and what's it like reporting on Bielsa as well? Of course, we know that he's done a brilliant job, and you hear stories about him. What is it actually like?
Yeah, I mean, working with the club has been a lot better in recent times, a lot better, because over the years it's been difficult. Under the Ken Bates era, where he didn't really want any other media outlets covering the club or wouldn't give much access to them, so that was particularly difficult. So in that sense, the job is easy. We're not having to, if you like, at one point we were having to broadcast some at the Peacock pub quite a few years ago because we weren't given enough access to be able to do even a pre-commentary pre-show before commentary or post-match, so never mind not having the commentary itself. So that was really difficult, and every twist and turn, the club is doing its best to make life difficult. That seems a long time ago now, thankfully. I mean, Cellino brought his own issues because it was pretty crazy. However, I do feel that after the mayhem of GFH, that it needed somebody with a really sort of willful sort of persona to clear up the mess, really, or at least straighten it out. However, the problem there for me was when you're covering a club that you soon realise that everything was looked at as a cost and not as an investment, and it needed cost cutting, but it didn't need to go that deep or that far, and the club could never grow then. So that was difficult as well, because you felt that the playing staff weren't of a great calibre. It was only really Berardi that's seen the test of time from that era. And then obviously under Angus Kinnear, since he's come in with Andrea Radrizzani, a lot more professional, a lot more slicker, and I think a lot more intent, a genuine intent to combine the local media and, where possible, I suppose, with the national media as well, to sort of engage with them and realise that there's a positive message coming out of Leeds, and that it needs to be told, and that it can be shared, and most of it is. I mean, I think Radrizzani is probably the first owner that's arrived without any real sort of skeletons in the cupboard, So I know there's been issues with some of the things he's done while he's been at Leeds, and people are trying to point to some of his business practices elsewhere, but ultimately I think I think the intention from him is really solid. I know he loves his sports rights business, but I think in terms of Leeds United, he's doing his best to deliver on the promise that he made was to himself to try and get him in the Premier League, but also things like buying the ground back. These things, you've had it from a reporting stance. You've had somebody that said he was going to do it, and he's delivered it. Everybody else said they were going to do it, didn't deliver. So you feel that you can trust the club that lot more, I think, than you could do in previous times.
Yeah, it's been an incredible turnaround. Looking ahead to the rest of this season, then got two very important away games coming up. First against Birmingham, and then away at Preston. But after that 3-2 victory over Millwall last Saturday at Elland Road, how important is this period now, do you feel, in terms of how the season's going to finish?
Yeah, I mean, look, 3 games in a week now. We're suddenly back into after the international break. So I think the complexion of the table could look quite different, particularly when you consider that Leeds and Sheffield United are coming up against same opposition in the next 2 games. And then, of course, Leeds have a big game against Sheffield Wednesday. So by the end of these 3 games, you might find, especially if Norwich continue their rich vein of form, that there may be a bit of a breakaway going on for either of the 2 sides that are chasing it. Lots of people are sort of anticipate it's going to go to the wire. It could well do it at this stage, and it could be an Ipswich away job. But I just think I'm confident ahead of the next few games, and I really have learnt this season more than others just to try and focus on say Birmingham next, rather than keep thinking about Preston and Sheffield Wednesday, what might happen at Brentford or Wigan at home and stuff. So, but I am confident because I genuinely believe, Ed, that Leeds are the best side when they put their A game together. Their A game is better than Norwich's A game, and hence better than everybody else's in the division as well.
Do you believe then that Leeds United will get promoted this season? I'll put you on the spot.
I do, yeah. Honestly, I really have felt it for a long time now that logic doesn't always sort of fit in there, but I have had a feeling that it will happen. I genuinely believe they deserve to as well. And I think that the big difference to me, and I've sort of tried to convey this over the season, is that when you look at, say, 2005-06 under Kevin Blackwell, when they were always looking like third at best behind Reading and Sheffield United, who sort of ran away with it, particularly Reading that year. Leeds sort of dropped into the playoffs on a really bad run of form. If they drop into the playoffs this year, it's going to be really unfortunate, but you still know that they're a very, very good side, and much as I'd hate it to have to go to there, because you're probably going to meet a side, if you're going to be the third one that drops in out the top 3, because the 2 that don't make it, you're going to meet somebody that's on the rise somewhere. And there's some tough teams in there, I mean, even if Borough recover, that they're going to be like really a sturdy and doughty sort of side. Villa are in there, I don't think they'll hold on to their place. West Brom, who've suddenly had a little skirt, maybe the top 2, he's probably going to end up in third, you would have thought. So, and then with the Sheffield Wednesday, or even a Preston, could even make then you're going to catch something on a bit of form going in, and Derby have certainly got enough players to cause anybody a problem on their day. So we'll get some mad results, don't they? I mean, they walloped Rotherham 6 the other day, but then can get beat 4 themselves. So so there's a lot of hope that they do it, but I genuinely believe that they will do it because they've got the ability, and they've stayed calm under pressure as well, and they've coped with being not only the expectation of being at Leeds United, and now with a huge fan base thinking, gosh, they can do this. Much as they also think, well, they can blow it as well. They've coped with that, and they've coped with being at the top nearly all season too.
Yeah, hopefully we can do it, and hopefully no wheeling shouts get in quite a lot of times.
Yeah, hopefully. Look, I'd accept 7-1-0 wins at the end of the season. That'd be fine. Yeah, look, we're all feeling it. We felt it before the Sheffield United game. There was a lot of tension, a lot of anxiety. Probably more so for the West Brom game, actually, after the defeat to QPR. The Millwall game everyone felt quite relaxed, I think, to an extent, other than it being Millwall, because they thought, look, they expected a win. That's where you sort of worry about the complacency, maybe setting in. Not that it will with the players at all, but yeah, I think there's no way. I can't look at any of these games now and think, right, can you guarantee yourself 3 points? And then Birmingham need points. Preston are going for it, even though they lost recently. Sheffield Wednesday not giving up the fight. Brentford's always been awkward. Wigan maybe expect to do that. On before they go to Brentford, and then Villa. I mean, there's going to be something on the Villa game, isn't there? Even if it's not for Leeds, it's going to be for them. And then Ipswich will be down by then, but hopefully it's done. I'd like to think, Ed, it'd be done and dusted, with the penultimate game. I just think to do it at Elland Road would be fantastic. And if I had a sort of vision of it happening, then that would be great. But if we've got to go to Portman Road, a la Bournemouth all those years ago, then so be it. But wow, like the tension is it's not unbearable because it's sort of enjoyable as well, but it's that dash for the line, isn't it? And everybody's sort of out of breath already, but we just got enough guts to see it through now, because I think what's interesting for me as well, both Norwich, Leeds and Sheffield United, there's not like a huge body of people or players in any of those sides that have done this particularly. We've all elements of people have gone up and so Barry Douglas sadly was injured and what have you, and there's people with vast experience like Pablo Hernandez, say, but you don't look at those squads and think, well, here is a seasoned set of promotion campaigners from the Championship into the Premier League, so it's who's got the bottle, because it's uncharted territory for a lot of players this now.
Certainly is. Adam Pope there, BBC Video Leeds. Great guy. Loved chatting to him. Hopefully you all enjoyed that one. But he's very optimistic, isn't he? Very optimistic, very full of praise for Leeds United.
It's easy to be optimistic when you're not a Leeds fan, though.
Yeah.
He's an Everton fan, for those of you that don't know, but he's covered Leeds a long time.
Since you've had him 5, I think he's in that interview.
Yeah, so he's been watching Leeds almost as long as I have. So he does love the club. And he is very optimistic. We're all optimistic. You can't be going to get. I mean, we're all Leeds fans, so we all think this is all going to end in tears. But for the most part, we're all optimistic that this could be our year.
Yeah.
By playoffs, hopefully not, or by automatics, hopefully.
I'm not optimistic. I know it's our year. I know it's our year, mate.
And then you have the deluded Leeds fan in his natural habitat.
I'll tell you what, it was interesting. Adam Pope. I asked him whether this is the best season he's reported on Leeds, and he went into depth about what's been like reporting Leeds over a few years with a few owners and reporting restrictions that he's had, and highlighting the fact that Andrea Verzani, at the club, he really has changed it really. Yeah,
because we've had all manner of cretins manage kind of own this club in the last kind of 15 years. We've had the likes of Bates and GFH and Chelino. Yeah.
I know Bates certainly didn't like. He certainly put a few bans on a few journalists.
I mean, yeah, Phil got banned, didn't he, by Bates?
Yeah, I think so.
And then he got slaughtered in the programme notes. Bates doing his own notes in the Leeds United programme.
But I mean, yeah, Andrea Verzani, what he's done is magnificent, and people who they like to be negative, but Andrea Verzani is the best owner that we've had for years and years, and the setup at the club is fantastic. It really is brilliant, and with the director of football, I know that a lot of people don't like it, and they were saying, "Oh, we're not going to get a manager who wants to be under director of football," but we've got Bielsa, and he's doing a fantastic job. So, be positive. We are blessed, really, I would say, to have Andrea Verzani, the owner, director of football, and the setup that we have at the club. For me personally.
Did you see that new Sky Bet episode thing about Leeds?
Victor Orta.
Yeah, and they interviewed Orta about the whole thing, and he was like, and Verzani, I said, all right, who's your favourite coach? Who do you want? And he went, oh, well, my favourite coach is Bielsa, but we'll never get him. And so Verzani just went, try. And now we have him, and now we're second in the league with 7 games to go. And
Incredible stuff. And Victor Orta was so close to leaving as well.
Who dares wins.
And I remember we were chanting Orta out away at Preston last season, along with a lot of other thousands of Leeds fans.
We were. That's because I looked at the J. Roy Grott and Sibicki and some of the dreadful players he signed. I mean, for the most part, his under 23 signings have all been brilliant, barring a couple, but his senior signings have been, I mean, the ones I can see have lasted are Alioski, Douglas, Bamford. There's been quite a few who hasn't made it. Saiz hasn't made it, not really. NkGhTg never made it. Usain Boy, he never made it, did he? Remember him? Do you remember him?
From Juventus, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I remember last season they put a video of like the players walking onto the training field, and at the end of it, they put Boy like walking onto the training field waving at the camera. It's like, oh, is he going to play? Are we finally going to see him? But no, it doesn't seem to have worked out. But yeah, I mean, Victor, there's a lot of players that he's brought in, and they were good. But this season, he's listened. He's got players with English football experience, and we're second in the league with 7 games to go. It is incredible.
Rather than go for the whole kind of sign 11 players all for £1 million each kind of scattergun approach, he's gone for the sign 2 players permanently in Douglas and Bamford and get the rest on loan, and we'll try and do this the proper way of doing it. Yeah.
And it's obviously working. And I'll ask you, the first question I asked Adam Pope was, did he see, Leeds United being in this position at this point of the season? Did you?
No.
Were you expecting this?
No. If I'm being honest with you, no.
Yeah, I mean, definitely not. I mean, we went to that last Palmas friendly a week before, didn't we? And looking at that, and watching that, we were like, going into the Stoke City game, I was like, if we play like we did against Las Palmas, I can't see us winning this. But we didn't.
A couple of players did play well in that Las Palmas game. Click played well, which got him his starting spot for that game.
We definitely weren't great though. We only beat them 1-0, and
it was kind of roof last minute winner, wasn't it? Really.
But, yeah, it's just been a massive surprise. Really, I certainly didn't expect it. If we were pushing for the playoffs, I'd be happy. But if we finish in the playoffs, I'd be upset. Hopefully, there's going to be a few twists and turns. We know that it's going to go right down to the wire probably, but hopefully we can get done and dusted early. If it's the Aston Villa game that seals the win, the last home game of the season that seals the win, that seals promotion for Leeds, that'd be great.
I know nobody wants to hear this, but I think mathematically we secure playoffs if we beat Birmingham and Preston. I think we're like 18 points clear at this point of 7th place.
That'd be nice.
I think we are exactly 18 points clear. But so if we win, if we beat Preston, we beat Birmingham, then I think we're effectively mathematically guaranteed playoffs.
Yeah, let me have a look. I'll try to do a quick maths.
Quick maths.
Yeah, we are 18 points clear of 7th place Derby County. Frank Lampard's Derby County. They do have a game in hand though. But yeah, so that's the interview. Hopefully you all enjoyed it with Adam Pope. But let's move on, shall we, to the two big games coming up for Leeds United this week. It's Birmingham away on Saturday and then Preston away on Tuesday. Then followed by the small matter of a home game against Sheffield Wednesday. 5:30 kick-off that one as well. It's certainly going to be interesting. So it's 3 games in 1 week, which is going to be very vital. But the reason why these 2 games are vital for me is because Sheffield United also play Preston away and then Birmingham away, while we play Birmingham away and then Preston away in the next few days, and it could make or break both sides of the season. Really, they're both very tough places to go to. It's going to be interesting, certainly.
Yeah, it's we don't really have a lot of easy games left, do we? No. I mean, Ipswich and Wigan are the other ones I can see which we should be winning. Yeah. And then all the others, Derby against Sheffield Wednesday, it's not a walk in the park. Brentford away. Oh, we always lose. Villa at home. It's got to be tough. They've got Grealish back now. Aston Grealish. The literal definition of a one-man team. They are mid-table dross without him. And now they're 5th place with him because they won the last 5 games since he's been back. But yeah, it's certainly going to be interesting, isn't it? Are these season-defining games, these 2 coming up against Preston and Birmingham? I think by the end of the Sheffield Wednesday game, we'll know where we're going to be. Yeah, I think if we pick up... if it's a perfect week, then I think we'll be fine. Yeah, I reckon if we pick up 6 points in these next 2 games, great. If we pick up 9 points in the next 3 games, then I think there's no doubt in my mind that we're going to finish second. Well, even if we win the next 3 games, there's still 4 games left, so that's still a 12-point swing, which can... Yeah. It's hard to predict because you don't know how Leeds are going to turn up in all 3 games. We're very inconsistent, aren't we? And you don't know if Sheffield United are going to win all their 3 games because they've just had a bad result and they might go on a bad run now, which hopefully they do. Yeah, hopefully. See, the problem with trying to predict the championship is it's the championship and it cannot be predicted because anyone can beat anyone. Yeah. I always, when anyone disagrees with that, I always take them back to when Wolves played Sunderland away, last season when Wolves had been promoted like 2 weeks earlier and Sunderland had been relegated the week before and Sunderland beat them 3-0. It's like Sunderland had the worst team in the league, and they went and beat the best team in the league convincingly. Yeah. Let's dive into the Birmingham game then. First of all, of course, we're up against our former manager Gary Monk. They beat us already this season. Yep, they beat us 2-0 at Ellen Road early on in the season. 2-1, wasn't it? Yep, I think it was back in September or October. I believe. I think it was September. September. We didn't have. Was that? Did we still have Roof and Hernandez in that game? I don't think so. No, that was probably why we lost. But they've been hit with a 9-point deduction recently. They're now 18th in the league and just 4 points above relegation after losing 3-2 away at West Brom last Friday night. 5 losses in a row for them. Yep, 5 losses in a row. I mean, they're a poor side, and we should be beating them. Only Borough are below them in the form table. I mean, they're a poor side, and we should be beating them. We should be beating them. There's no excuse. Yeah. They did score 2 against West Brom, but
West Brom haven't been great recently.
I don't know. They've won.
They've won a few games, but they'll be performing well.
They haven't really caught up us, but they've caught up Sheffield United a bit.
Yeah.
They're only 4 points behind Sheffield United now, which is they'd be lying to you if players didn't say they were looking over the shoulder, only 4 points behind them.
Yeah.
It'd be so funny if they collapsed into the playoffs. It'd be hilarious.
I mean, it's definitely a game that we can win. I reckon that we will. Kiko, he's back from suspension. He could be in goal.
He will be in goal.
And Kemar Roof, if he's back from injury, he may go in. Prediction for this one, I'd go for it. I'm going to go 3-0 to Leeds United. I reckon we'll win this comfortably.
Have we got a good record down there? I mean, we won there in the Monk season.
The last time we won there was the Monk season, yeah.
Yeah, we lost there last season.
Yeah.
Oh, God, how did we lose there last season? They were like bottom of the table when we lost there. We were, never mind.
We weren't great last season.
We were garbage.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 2-0 Leeds.
2-0. Yeah, I reckon we'll keep a clean sheet, especially with Kiko back in goal. And
they've got Jukovic and Che Adams, who are both pretty good.
Yeah, but for me, we could keep a clean sheet. And I'm going to go 3-0 to Leeds United. I'm fairly optimistic about this one. Just a reminder for the fans that are going to the game, make sure to turn your back for Chris and Kev. Of course, Friday marks 19th year since Christopher Loftus and Kevin Speed, they got stabbed in Istanbul while he's playing Galatasaray to find 2000 UEFA Cup semi-final. Always in our memories, and we always pay our respects. So make sure if you go in, make sure you turn back in respect for Chris and Kev. But moving on to Preston then, Tuesday night away, going to be a completely different story than the Birmingham game.
We're going to be there.
We're going to be there. It's going to be great. Maybe podcast maybe next week is probably going to be on Thursday. We may have to record it on Thursday.
We'll get back late.
It depends how we're feeling on the Wednesday. If we're feeling all right on the Wednesday, then we'll
may as well not come home. Jesus, we're not going to get back in Leeds until about midnight, and then I've got to be back here by what half 8 or something like that.
We may record it same time that we're recording now. It's 6 o'clock right now on a Wednesday night. May record it 6 o'clock next Wednesday.
It might be a nighttime record.
Maybe a Thursday morning record. You're going to have to bear with us, but it should be a good week on the channel. Keep an eye out. But yeah, Preston is going to be a completely different story. They're a top side for me. They've got some good players. Now, yes, they did lose 2-1 away at Reading last Saturday, but they were unbeaten in 10 games before that, winning 7 of those. That loss probably came at a really good time, to be honest.
They've stuck a few youth players in, and they've got a young, I don't know what his name is, but they've stuck a couple of young centre backs in, and they've really took to the role, and they've started off really well. They've got Declan Rudd in goal. He used to be at Norwich. He's a good keeper. They've got the same-ish kind of team they've had for years. They've got Daniel Johnson in midfield, who's a bit inconsistent, but generally a good Championship player. And they've got that Maguire they've got up front or on the wing or something like that. He usually scores quite a few for them. So they've got a good solid. They buy a lot of Irish players, the Preston, which is quite decent because obviously I'm part Irish myself, so I follow a lot of Irish players. But they've got a good solid Championship team, and we slapped them about when they were at Ellen Road, 3-0. And it wasn't like a difficult 3-0. It was a comfortable 3-0.
Tyler Roberts scoring 2 goals, I think, in that night as well.
His first 2 goals for the club, yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can continue that and get back another couple.
Yeah. We definitely can't concede first, because I remember the cup game earlier on in the season, they beat us at Ellen Road. We went. They got a penalty and scored. Went 1-0 ahead after about 2 minutes, and then just time wasted and cheated their way through the game and ended up winning.
That penalty was awful. That penalty wasn't a penalty.
It was a dive. It was awful. We really, really cannot go down against them. But that loss against Reading probably come at a good time, really. It stopped their 10-game unbeaten run. They are 10th in the league, though, 3 points off the playoffs, so no doubt they'll be they'll be wanting to try and make a push for the top 6 places and bounce back from that defeat. Of course, they play Sheffield United away, or at home rather, on Saturday. But yeah, they're going to want to push for the playoffs. I think this week, if they don't win any of their games, of course, Sheffield United and Leeds United, not easy. If they don't win any of them, then they're probably not going to make the playoffs. So they're going to be up for it. It's going to be tough. No doubt it's going to be the harder of the 2 games. Yeah,
it will be. But, Monk will have them up for this. Birmingham will want to stop the rot, and they'll want to get clear of the relegation zone. So I wouldn't write them off. Preston are on, obviously, opposite side of the table. They've got something to fight for. They want the playoff spot. Obviously, Bristol City have been a bit inconsistent recently. Middlesbrough fallen apart. Derby, although they slapped about Rotherham, everyone slaps about Rotherham. Generally, they've been a bit poor of Derby of late, especially this year, the calendar year.
Yeah.
So if anyone, if Villa have proven it, if you can put a run together, you can finish in the not in the top 4, but you can finish 5th or 6th, because I think there's like a 10-point gap between 4th and 5th.
Yeah.
So the top 4, although the order's not sorted yet, the actual who's going to be in it is sorted.
Yeah.
But the 5th and 6th place are up for grabs, and if Preston will be thinking, if we can put a run together here, we can nick it off Villa or we can nick it off Bristol City.
Yeah, definitely. They're going to be up for it. We don't usually have a great record away at Preston, but you know what? I do think that we can see this over the line. I'm fairly optimistic about this one. I'll go for a close and nervy 2-1 win to Leeds United. What about you?
1-1 draw.
1-1 draw. Yeah, I reckon for these 2 games, you know, the games that we should be winning, there's not really any excuses. Yes, they're away from home against tough sides, but there's, you know, we can win. Yeah, so for me, Birmingham could beat it 3-0. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win over Preston.
If we win and draw against Birmingham and Preston, and Sheffield United beat Birmingham and Preston, we go into the Sheffield Wednesday game on level points with Sheffield United.
Wow.
And they've got a better goal difference than us.
Yeah, wow. But yeah, that's for 2 games. It should be interesting. And of course, All Things Leeds will be keeping you right up to date with everything that is happening. But that brings us to the end of episode 15 of the All Things Leeds podcast. Thank you to Charles, as always, for joining me.
Cheers.
And as we said, we don't know what day we're going to be back next week, but it should be a good week on the All Things Leeds YouTube channel, so make sure you keep an eye out there. But thank you to everyone who has joined and listened. We really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed, then why not subscribe or follow the podcast on whatever platform you're listening on. Give us a 5-star rating if you're on Apple Podcasts as well. That'd be great. Share the podcast around and share the channel around. That will help us out. Make sure to follow All Things Leeds on social media pages. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Facebook, just search up All Things Leeds. Twitter and Instagram, just search up All Things Leeds 1. And keep up to date with everything that is happening. Like I said, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. I'm looking at the camera right now. We are on Facebook, or on YouTube rather. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. That'd be great. And yeah, me and Charles, we will be back next week, definitely. But yeah, thanks again, and we'll see you next week.